It's March 22nd, 2019.
This is Nerd Bourbon episode 94. I am Seth Sturgill.
And I am Todd Sturgill.
And I am just living in a state of anxiety waiting on my Star Wars Celebration stuff.
Same, bro.
That's pretty much all. I just check my email constantly. Is it getting mailed out today? Is my badge getting mailed out today? What about my shirt? What about my lanyards?
I honestly feel like the people who bought it the earliest are getting fucked.
That's probably true. That's usually how it goes.
Because it's like dude, we bought our shit like the day of, basically.
I bought mine minutes after it went on sale.
Yeah, and I think I bought it about the same.
Because I messaged you the second after they went on sale. And I'm like, hey, like I know we were talking about doing this. Like if you, because it's coming to Chicago. It's like we have to go.
Yeah.
So I messaged you right after they went on sale. I think you were maybe sleeping when I messaged you, but I think it was only an hour or two later you woke up.
Yeah, and then as soon as I woke up, I was like, bam, right then and there.
Yeah, and we bought the 5-day badges and stuff. And people are starting to get their badges and stuff like that. But I'm just sitting here. I'm like, well, fuck, when? When's gonna be my time? When do I get to win? I'm ready, dude.
I'm excited for like multiple reasons. Not just for like the convention, but for like doing other bullshit in Chicago with you guys.
Yeah.
But
we will have more Star Wars to talk about later on in the show because Todd, I've got a litany of video game news to cover.
Oh, I know.
Video game, movie, nerd culture news to cover. That's what we do here on Nerd Bourbon after all, isn't that right, Todd?
You know something that I'm finding a little disappointing. Where's my notes?
Oh, you know what? I did say I was going to send you the show notes, didn't I?
Yes,
well,
you did.
It's too late. It's too late. You will have no notes.
Fuck it. We'll do it live.
Is that Bill O'Reilly?
Yeah.
That video. We'll do it live. Fuck it.
Yeah.
One of the great YouTube videos. Anyway, before we get into what we've been playing, before we get into the news, I just want to do a little bit of self-promotion, Todd. A little bit of shameless self-promotion. I want to pimp out something.
There's nothing wrong with that.
I want to pimp out some stuff. I gotta say, Nerd Bourbon Enterprises has been firing on all cylinders lately. We've just been producing content like it's going out of style. Between shots and relapse, between the episodes of the main show, between YouTube content. Specifically, we actually just wrapped up our Far Cry New Dawn series on YouTube. And I think there are some tantalizing opportunities for more YouTube video series on the horizon. I know we were entertaining the idea of maybe doing a Saints Row playthrough.
Yes.
I don't know if you heard about...
I think we were talking... The other things we were talking about, I think we were talking about like doing like a Mario Maker thing.
Mario Maker is certainly going to be a series.
Yeah.
Certainly. I don't know if you heard about this. Castle Crashers is actually coming out.
Oh, shit, is it?
On PS4 and Switch.
You know what's fucking weird to me for that game?
What?
Like, I love that game, I do.
I do too.
But that's another one of those games that got ruined for me.
Why?
Same reason that Left 4 Dead originally got ruined for me. Motherfuckers playing it every fucking day.
Yeah.
Turning it into a job.
I never got like that with Castle Crashers, but I really had a great time with that game.
Yeah, no, I absolutely love the game. It was a fantastic time, like, until that shit happened.
Yeah, and I'm kind of like, it's coming to Switch. I'm like, man, I kind of want.
I could see myself playing it again. It's been a long time.
We should pick it up on Switch and do a little mini video series playthrough Castle Crashers.
Yeah, shit, I'm down.
It'd be fun. I like that game a lot. Anyway, the point is, there's a bunch of stuff. I just want to stress to you guys that if this sounds like the kind of thing, we have a steady fan base of listeners that listen to the show every week, and we appreciate all of your support. I just want to say, like I want to direct you guys, look up Nerd Bourbon on YouTube. Throw us a subscribe on there. It really helps us out. If we can hit that 100 subscriber mark, we can actually have a custom URL, which has been driving me fucking crazy for the past 2 years. So I just want to stress that. I mean, we upload the podcasts on there, the audio version of the podcast, but there's also a significant amount of kind of exclusive video content. We do Let's Plays, we do, full co-op playthroughs of video games. There's a lot of series that we've done on there. There's even like little one-off videos that we've done on there. I'm not saying that like we go fucking crazy on YouTube, but I'm just saying that if you're a fan of what we do, YouTube is just an extension of that. So I just want to point you guys in that direction. Check out our YouTube channel if you're a fan of our bullshit. Anyway, with that being said, Todd, what have you been playing this week?
The main thing has been Devil May Cry.
Just waiting on Sekiro.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. And I've just actually finished my Son of Sparta playthrough, and that's where I'm calling it on Devil May Cry.
Yeah.
I might jump on and fuck with like the Bloody Palace shit.
Which comes out, I think, April 1st.
Yeah, so I might fuck with that, honestly, but at the moment I'm calling it on Devil May Cry with the Son of Sparta. I'm not going to Dante Must Die. I'm not doing all that bullshit.
I've pretty much laid out my groundwork of what I'm going to be doing with Devil May Cry, because I'm in the middle of it. I'm on mission 9, so I'm kind of like right there.
Haven't even got to Dante yet.
No, isn't that sad? But and you know, I'm really enjoying my time with the game. I just have not, as I said earlier, we've been doing a lot of content, so just on the production end of things, I've been kind of busy. But I'm really enjoying my time with the game. But I already know, like, I'm doing my sort of normal mode Devil Hunter playthrough. I will probably do a Son of Sparta playthrough. I might dabble with Dante Must Die, just to see. If it's not too hard, I might fuck with it.
I'm good.
The main reason I want to do it is because I'm intrigued by the, they brought back the sort of like heaven or hell, like everything dies in one hit. But they've made it even easier this time around where you actually get 3 lives. Yeah,
it's pretty doable, but it's like, do I feel like suffering through Dante Must Die?
Yeah. So I don't know.
I don't know. Depending on how hard Dante Must Die is. Again, I'm calling it. I'm just eh.
And I also just want to, I want to go back and clean up like miscellaneous. I'll never platinum the game. I already know I'll never platinum the game. But
so I don't even care about the fucking miscellaneous shit.
There's some stuff that I want to play that I haven't got around to playing yet. Like I picked up a game that I've been following for a little while that came out on PC last year. It's called Ghost of a Tale, and it's sort of a stealth RPG where you play as a mouse. And it's really cool, from a little indie studio. And
I feel like I know what game that is.
Yeah, you've probably at least seen it. I'm a huge fan of Redwall, and like and it carries a definite like Redwall tone. It basically looks like a Redwall game, and I'm all about that. So I'm like, I've had my eye on the game for a while, and it just recently came out on PS4. So I picked it up. Have not played it yet. I will probably have more to say about that next week. It should also be noted that at the time that you're listening to this, Sekiro is out, but that does not mean that Todd has played it yet, because we record this before Friday.
Don't worry. Next week, I'm going to go balls deep.
So you should be prepared for that. Next week, we'll definitely be talking about, I think Todd's going to have some words to say about Sekiro, which I'm very excited about. His most anticipated game of the year. I'm very excited to hear his thoughts on that. And then I'll probably talk about Ghost of a Tale a little bit.
But nobody gives a shit about that. I was just playing.
Well, I'm going to talk about it anyway. You're going to take a trip to Seth's Indie Corner.
I don't want to.
Now that we have all of that out of the way, I think we just need to go head first into this news, because there's a pretty good amount of news. It's been a pretty news-heavy week. Tell you what, let's start with some video game news, shall we? Because I've got video game news, I've got movie news. So let's start with the video game news. And I'm going to start small. Sony and EA may be skipping E3 this year, but that doesn't mean everyone else is, Todd. Bethesda has announced that they will be holding their E3 press conference this year on Sunday, June 9th at 5:30 p.m. Pacific. What do you make of that?
What the fuck are they going to show?
That's my question. What could they possibly have? What could Bethesda possibly have?
I honestly don't. I don't think Bethesda should even have a show. Honestly,
I feel like Bethesda has fucked themselves. They've really trapped themselves.
Because it's like by the time that comes out, it's like Rage 2 is already out.
Yeah.
Like they're not gonna have anything from like Starfield or fucking Elder Scrolls 6.
Nope.
The show. It's like, what are we gonna, unless they give us an updated trailer.
Yeah. Here's what you're gonna get out of Bethesda this year. So, Doom Eternal is gonna play a big part. Probably coming out realistically, I don't know if Doom Eternal is going to come out this year or not. It's either going to be like late this year or early 2020 for Doom Eternal. But I mean, maybe you'll get a gameplay reveal of Starfield. Almost certainly you're not going to see that game this year, or probably even next year.
It's real shit.
So I mean, but maybe we'll get a gameplay trailer. Maybe we'll at least get a little bit of a sense of what that game is.
You know what we will get?
What?
Another musical guest.
Who do you think's going to be the musical guest?
Oh, I don't give a shit.
I really just think it's going to be kind of like superfluous bullshit other than that, because I'm just like you said, Rage 2 comes out in May, so Rage 2 will have just come out. I mean, maybe they announce like some DLC for Rage 2.
Now that that could easily be a thing, but it's like, is that really what you're going to come to E3 for?
Yeah, and I'm
That's
just
a
like,
damn shame.
I'm like, maybe maybe you're going to announce some, maybe you're going to...
Can I just imagine this? Because, like, this has not been a good year for Bethesda.
No.
Like, just I can imagine just the booze and shit. Oh my god.
Piggybacking off of that, what I was about to point to next, I wonder if they want to take the stage and be like, hey, guess what? We're starting over on Fallout 76, basically. We've got a new expansion coming out, a big Fallout 76 expansion that is going to like fix a lot of the problems that Fallout 76 has had.
What would an expansion be for that? Just like straight up
I don't
adding
even know.
That's what I'm trying to think. Like
adding landmass, upping like level caps. I'm not familiar enough with the game to really say that, but the game is essentially like an MMO.
Yeah.
So like it is, the framework must be there for them to expand upon it. So I wouldn't be surprised at all if we saw something Fallout 76 related. They want to at least support the game, or maybe they don't. Maybe they just want to sweep it under the rug and pretend like it didn't happen. I don't know.
It's too late.
I guess we'll see.
Forget.
It's already too much of a big shit stain on their reputation. So
I mean, the only thing that saved them a little bit from the shit talk was Anthem.
Yeah, that's actually something that I kind of want to get into also. There's some interesting things that are Anthem related that we'll talk about this week.
Yeah.
I don't know. They may announce Evil Within 3, I guess.
I mean, for people that are fans of those games, cool. If that's a thing,
Yeah, I don't know, man. We're almost certainly not going to have Dishonored.
Well, I think Dishonored's kind of over.
Yeah, I honestly feel like Dishonored's sort of done.
Yeah, because it's like like the fucking final DLC is like Death of the Outsider. It's like,
right.
That's how motherfuckers get the powers in that game. So it's like,
right. So it's like, where like honestly, where do you go from here?
I don't think you go anywhere. I think Dishonored's just dead. R.I.P.
Yeah, R.I.P. Dishonored. So
shit, you never even beat Dishonored 2.
No, I do want to go back to that game one day.
One day. It's like fucking 5 years from now.
I do want to go back to it one day. I don't know, though. But I just, I come into this, and so Bethesda has, they kind of sent out their invites. This is their 5th annual E3 showcase. It seems like the tagline or theme of it is Be Together. So, I don't know what...
Be Together, huh?
Be Together, yeah.
I feel like,
I don't know what that means.
It's interesting.
They had kind of an image of like all of their franchises, kind of like holding hands and shit like that. It seemed a little weird.
It's a little lame, but
I don't know. But so Bethesda is going. Despite everything, Bethesda is going to be at E3. I've got some interesting announcements in the realm of video games. Let's do a slow burn with these. So the first one I want to talk about: Turtle Rock Studios, developers of the original Left 4 Dead and Evolve, have announced their next game. It's called Back 4 Blood, and it's seemingly aiming to fill the space that Valve refuses to with the new Left 4 Dead game. Back 4 Blood is it's a cooperative zombie shooter.
Now, I saw a good joke about this. It was pretty good.
Okay.
Like these motherfuckers don't want to count to 3. Make a new game.
Pretty much. Pretty much. Valve will not count to 3.
Oh, Lord.
But cooperative zombie shooter details are basically non-existent because neither Turtle Rock or the publisher WB has provided any art or gameplay or any
Yeah.
anything.
You know what I would actually kind of prefer from this is if they went for a more realistic, like art design.
Oh yeah, you want it to be kind of a photorealistic thing.
Yeah, I think I'd enjoy that more, honestly.
I kind of like the stylized.
I mean,
look.
I do too, but it's just like I think it'd be cool to go a little realistic.
I gotta be honest with you. Like, I like Left 4 Dead and everything, but like Evolve didn't really do it for me. I played Evolve for a little while, and it was fine.
Me and you had fun with Evolve for a little
Yeah.
bit. That's like it is what it is. Like Evolve was a cooler idea on like paper,
Right.
than in practice for me.
Right, I agree.
But I mean, it did spawn some good inside jokes between us. But that's about it.
Yeah, of course. Well, again, details are basically scant or non-existent. So that we pretty much just know the title and the core concept. No art, nothing. But Turtle Rock does insist that Back 4 Blood is not just a Left 4 Dead clone. Studio says, quote, Back 4 Blood is our brand new original IP. You'll be able to shoot up a lot of zombies like in Left 4 Dead, but there's a whole lot of new stuff in Back 4 Blood, which makes it unique.
That's cool. Like, I mean, makes it a little more exciting to me, honestly.
Right.
But I don't know. Shit, when did Left 4 Dead 2 come out?
2009 or 10.
Yeah,
I think.
God damn.
Let me just fact check that. 2009. Yeah.
Shit.
Yep. So.
I mean, I feel like the world could be ready for a new co-op zombie game.
I mean, look, I'm ready for something like that. I mean, I like Left 4 Dead as much as the next guy. If they're gonna do something new with the formula, I mean, look, who better to do it than the original developers, right?
Yeah.
Piggybacking off of that, I've got another video game announcement. This one, Todd, is directed straight at you. Because the next game from Heart Machine, makers of Hyper Light Drifter, has been revealed.
Yes.
It's called Solar Ash Kingdom. It was revealed by way of a mysterious trailer that I immediately linked to you as soon as I saw it. What did you make of this trailer?
I don't give a shit. Here's the thing. You know what I actually really love about this? The art style is basically just taking the pixel art of Hyper Light Drifter and making that shit 3D. I swear to God.
So yeah, it's 3D, not pixel art like you may expect coming off of Hyper Light Drifter. It is like 3D and it is like polygons and stuff like that, and but
it's like this. It's got that same color palette that Hyper Light Drifter has, and I love that shit. And I'm fucking excited. I don't even know anything really about it, but I'm like, I'll be there. Like shit.
It's still very recognizably it's very much cut from the same cloth as Hyper Light Drifter with its art style. I like the design of the main character.
Yep.
Even though we don't really see gameplay or anything like that, I do like the way that the main character looks. The design is good.
Like I'm gonna be there day one for this, honestly. Even if it still comes, I think it's probably gonna come out on PC first.
Probably.
And I will more than likely pick it up on PC to play it at that point.
I mean, look,
whatever.
I mean, Hyper Light Drifter was a huge success. A lot of people love that game, and it's cool to see that. Because I think that, honestly, I think Hyper Light Drifter was sort of like the guy, Alex Preston, the studio head of Heart Machine. I think he was sort of just like, if I'm not mistaken, wasn't he sort of like Hyper Light Drifter is kind of like his swan song kind of thing?
Yeah.
Like he was using it to push through like heart disease and stuff like that.
Yeah. That's the whole, if you play the game, there's a lot of parallels with some shit like that.
Yeah, and so it's cool because that game has done so well that now they can self-sustain the development of an entirely new game, Solar Ash Kingdom. And it sounds like, I don't know if the piece of music that was in the trailer is an entirely original track or whatever, but it sounds like Disaster Piece might be back, which is great.
To be honest, Hyper Light Drifter I love that soundtrack.
Yeah,
I love that shit.
Yeah, I really enjoy that game's soundtrack too. So I've got a statement here that Alex Preston said to IGN, just sort of statement about the game. He says, quote, "We strive to tell a beautiful story through our world, the atmosphere, our characters, and even our gameplay. Each aspect of our games are painstakingly considered, which requires a large investment of time. Thanks for bearing with us and our relatives' silence. We're so excited to start opening up about the game and the process behind it on our devlog and beyond. It's been difficult to hold our tongues on such an exciting creation after this long, but it's been worth it to make sure we put our best for our audience and just see how far we've come from the days of pixel art. So,
Yeah,
they seem
pumped.
excited.
No, I'm excited. Like,
They seem excited. I've got, we're rolling from announcement after announcement, Todd. This was kind of a big deal. So, we've already kind of talked about this in private, but Google held an event at the Game Developers Conference just days ago at the time of this recording. I think actually just yesterday at the time of this recording. And they took to the stage, massive event, and they announced Google Stadia, I guess? Is that how you
dumb
pronounce
name.
it?
Yes. Yeah, I'm assuming. I was like, what other way could you pronounce it? Stadia?
Stadia? Stadia? It's a stupid name. Let's
Stadia?
Stadsha? I don't know. It's stupid. It sounds like one of two things. It sounds like it's either like a medicine or a Pokemon.
Oh, Lord.
It's like my doctor recommended I start taking Stadia. You know?
Erectile dysfunction-ass medicine.
Doctors recommend Stadia for for your erectile dysfunction. Yeah, so, so what Stadia is, and this is actually something that's interesting. The founder of Google Stadia is actually Phil Harrison. Does that name mean anything to you?
Yes, it does, actually. That's
You know who that is? So, Phil Harrison was once the head of Microsoft.
Yep.
And he actually headed up
that name.
Xbox, and he actually worked for Sony as well. So now here he is with Google Stadia, kind of trying to make a direct competitor with both of them. This is interesting. It's basically a streaming service. We don't know a lot of the hard details, unfortunately. It seems like this is just kind of an initial announcement. But it's essentially a streaming gaming platform. They have said that it is actually going to be substantially more powerful than the Xbox One X and the PlayStation 4 Pro. They were talking about the teraflops. Teraflops are flying wild, Todd.
Good old teraflops.
Good old teraflops. They were talking about, they had like a comparison screen where it's like the Xbox One X has fucking 7 teraflops or whatever. And the Google Stadia can support 10 point blah 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 teraflops. So whatever hardware that they are running this on and whatever it's going to be streaming to, your TV, your smartphone, whatever, it is significantly more powerful than the hardware that is currently available for consoles. So that's interesting. Yeah, I mean, what do you make of this? The streaming has been on the tip of our tongues.
Well, yeah, we've been talking
while.
about this for like the past couple episodes, actually. Like, the streaming, streaming is the future of games. I do agree with that. I know that was like something you've been saying for a while. I do agree with it. The thing is Google going to be the one that comes out on top, or is this going to go the way of Google Plus, when they're in their little forte into like social media?
I don't think it's necessarily like I don't think it's necessarily like a Google thing. I think it's the thing about this is, and like, yeah, this streaming is the future. There's no doubt about it. There are a lot of like companies that are moving towards this. Microsoft is, the reason we've been talking about it so much is because everybody's been talking about it so much.
Yeah.
It's definitely like, it's the talk of the town right now in the video game industry. Game streaming is the next big step. The future, I mean, I think we can probably plant the flag in the ground and say that like this generation is probably going to be the last generation with a box, attached to it. Like, game streaming is probably going to be a thing as internet gets better in this country. But that right there is the problem. Like, internet infrastructure is not there yet.
Oh, it's definitely not.
We're not Japan, like, where everybody just has like incredible internet speeds countrywide. Like, the US, we cannot stably move to that yet. We're not ready.
There's still places that like have like the garbage.
Yeah. And just so, I'm looking at some of the stuff and like, Yeah, it says that it supports 4K. It supports like 60 frames per second. But like, I have to imagine that like you're gonna have to have insanely fast internet to be able to achieve that. And then you got to think of latency.
Mm-hmm.
And latency is always going to be an issue.
And that's where the problem with streaming in general is for me. It's like I don't like at the moment. It is going to be the future, but at this time, I don't think it's going to work out.
Yeah, we're just not ready yet.
Yeah,
We're just not ready yet.
so that's why I do think this is going to go the way of their little sticking their fucking toes into social media.
But you know, they've even. I'll say that I'll give them credit where credit's due, though, because latency is the big problem with these game streaming services. PlayStation Now is really popular. I sort of dabbled with PlayStation Now, and like again, that was my big problem. Is like there was lag. You know what I mean? Like
Bad lag.
It wasn't like that. It was playable, but it was noticeable lag that you would not have playing the game natively. And PS Now has done some solutions with that where you can like download the games and stuff like that if you want to or whatever for certain games. But Google's solution to this is they're releasing a Google Stadia controller, which supposedly is going to help reduce input lag between the controller's actions and the actions on screen, which is good and an interesting solution for that problem. The controller, I think, is fine. It's a little ugly, I guess, but, you know, it's fine. It looks like a video game controller. The button layout is basically identical to the Switch Pro controller. The interesting thing is that it's going to have capabilities to... So some of these capabilities sound really cool. You could be watching a trailer for a game, and there'll just be like a play now button. And you just hit that button, and within seconds you're playing the game that you just watched the trailer for. Right? That's cool.
Yeah, that's cool. But I have a question, Seth. Do we really want Google to have this much control of our lives?
We're too far gone on that. Google, you better believe Google already knows everything about you. Google's actually, the more you look at it and the more you think about it, Google's fucking terrifying.
Oh, Google's straight up terrifying.
They know everything about you. If there is such a thing as like Skynet,
Google's
it's Google. Like they know everything. I mean, how much can you glean about a person based on their search history?
Here's the thing: we gotta stop talking. Listening.
We're painting targets on our back. Look, we've talked about our robot overlords. You couple Google with Boston Dynamics.
Oh shit!
That's Terminator. That's Terminator, bro. That's all it is.
Pretty soon they're gonna find us. They're gonna find us Hillary Clinton.
Right. Shot ourselves in the back of the head. He's gonna be a robot that just like kicks open our door. Remember that weird porn you watched? Anyway. So you know, they're doing interesting things, you know, in conclusion. I just don't know that now is the time.
Yeah.
I think we're kind of calling it a little too early, but it'll be interesting. I wonder, you know, I wonder if this is going to pay off for them. You know, I wonder if people are going to adapt to this. My instinct tells me no.
That's kind of where my instinct has been since this got announced, honestly.
Yeah.
Like I've been saying like this whole time is just, I think they're just gonna, if it doesn't do well, they're just gonna brush it under the rug like they did with Google Plus.
Yeah. Well, I've been taking Stadia for a few months now, and Stadia's really leveled out my headaches. It's
yeah. So now it's for head pain.
Yeah, it's for everything. It's an all-purpose.
Oh, all-purpose, huh?
All-purpose drug.
Sitting there taking care of your headaches, giving you a boner. All that shit.
Yeah, I'm sitting here.
God bless.
I got a raging boner, no head pain whatsoever. I'm feeling great.
You know, the reason why that is because it's taking the blood from your head.
Oh, that's actually brilliant. I love it. I've got some interesting stuff for you, Todd. Before we move into the realm of this Nintendo Direct that we just got today, which I want to briefly talk about, I got some interesting things here. I want to talk about the NPD, which I actually think this might be something that I start doing on the show. Because I think NPD is interesting. The sort of like the sales figures for video games.
Yeah.
I think this may be like a monthly segment on the show as you know, as these things go live. So we just got the results for the February 2019 NPD for physical sales. So NPD does track physical sales at retailers. It'll sometimes get digital data directly from publishers, but not everybody participates in that. So like, for example, Nintendo does not share its first-party sales. Activision Blizzard does not provide digital sales. So they're not perfect numbers, but it does sort of give you an idea of what is trending and how well they're selling. It's also worth noting that the NPD sales data charts are sorted by dollars, not by number of units. So just so that's clear. Interestingly enough, we have talked a lot about Anthem on this show this year since Anthem released. Anthem is actually the best-selling game of February, and it is actually the second best-selling game of 2019 thus far.
Wow.
So despite everything, Anthem is doing really well. Financially, anyway. Despite all of its problems, despite all of its bad press, despite all of the bad word of mouth, Anthem is doing great. Like in terms of its sales. So this is an interesting thing, because now I'm sort of wondering, now I wonder if EA is going to be like, all right, we got our money, let's try to right the ship and keep these people.
Really?
You know, we'll see. I read somewhere that Anthem was actually like the second biggest launch in BioWare's history, or something like that. So I mean, you know, I'll be curious to see next month the drop off. Is this all the people that were hyped for Anthem, or is Anthem really going to have staying power? Are we going to see Anthem, you know, in the top 10? Or
I mean, for me, it didn't have staying power. I fucking deleted it.
Right. Interestingly, so I'm just going to talk about the top like 3 here, which I think are really the only interesting things here on the NPD. I could list them all if you want me to, but I'm mainly interested.
No, I have it up. I'm looking at it.
I'm interested in this. So Jump Force number 2.
Yeah.
That's cool. To see Jump Force do well, you know.
I'm not surprised that it did do well, because like that's like every fucking weeb's dream right there.
It is, but I just sort of thought that maybe Jump Force was a little bit of a niche title, you know. Like I thought it would, you know, it would appeal to its.
You gotta understand. You gotta understand. Like there is a surprising amount of people that are into that shit.
Yeah.
Like. Because, like...
Closet weebs.
That, I'm gonna be honest, let me be real with you. Anime and manga, that shit brings motherfuckers together. I've had full conversations with, like, some of the most hardcore-ass looking motherfuckers in my life because of that shit.
Just like a hardcore, like, biker, tatted from head to toe. Yeah,
it's
really.
like that, and, like, hardcore. This motherfucker look like, dude, look straight fucking drug dealer type shit. Like, that shit brings people together. Because it's like, you know, like it was their childhood. It's like shit they still fuck with, you know? So it's like, I'm not surprised by it.
I really like Inuyasha.
I've heard shit like that. I mean, that's the thing. Like, shit like that, Dragon Ball starts it.
Yeah, Dragon Ball's a big one. Yeah.
Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z, that is a gateway anime.
Yeah.
Because a friend of mine that I don't work with anymore, like, that's like he started with that, and then he'd like ask me for like, you know, like he'd ask me for like recommendations and shit, and his ass come out of nowhere telling me like the other shit he's been watching and shit. Have full on conversations with him about that. I give him spoilers because I read the manga,
right?
Because he loves he loves to know what the fuck's gonna happen, type of shit.
So anime and manga, the great unifier.
Yes,
that's interesting, and I guess that translates to dollars, because I mean we're looking at it here. Jump Force number 2 best-selling game in February.
Well, shit, I know I'm gonna pick it up when it goes on sale.
That's all I'm waiting for, because I've played it. Yeah, I played a little bit of it. My little brother picked it up, and we played it for a few hours, and like I had a really good time with it. It's a button mashy ass game where you just sort of, I mean, there is strategy to it, of course, but it's the kind of game where you just turn your brain off and you're just button mashed. I'm like, look.
That's what I'm saying, dude. I cannot wait. Like I cannot wait to play that with you.
Just be stupid. Just like, you know, beat each other's ass. You know, Luffy running around. You know, it's fun. It's fun for what it is. I'm just surprised. Like I honestly was surprised to see it take the number 2 spot from Kingdom Hearts, which is the number 3 best-selling game of February. Worth noting that Kingdom Hearts 3 is the best-selling game of 2019 so far.
Okay.
So it did drop from number 1 in January to number 3 in February. So
Okay.
worth noting. Far Cry New Dawn at number 4, Red Dead at number 5. I expect to see Red Dead in the top 10 for a long time to come.
No, yeah, definitely.
Of course, Grand Theft Auto 5, which has been in the top 20, I think, since it came out, hanging in there at number 13. That's interesting. This is interesting. So Breath of the Wild's on there, number 15. Like,
I'm not surprised by
Breath
that.
of the Wild. I mean, that game. That game's 2 years old, over 2 years old.
I honestly still think that game sells Switches. So
Yeah, it does. The NPD is interesting. I think this is something going forward once a month that I would like to cover on the show.
I think it leads into an interesting conversation. So.
Yeah. So before we move on, one last piece of video game news before we move into the realm of movies, because I do have some huge developments in the movie realms, video game and movie realm has happened this week. So let's talk about really quick. I just want to go over some of the things from this Nintendo Switch Direct that happened today. This was a Nindies Direct, which is, as we all know, Nintendo's classification for indie games on their platform. Mm-hmm. So we had a 30-minute Direct today that covered a bunch of upcoming indie games, and I got to tell you, I was really impressed with this Direct.
No, there's some cool looking shit coming out of this.
Like, we all know, if you've been listening to this podcast for a while, Seth's Indie Corner. I'm a big fan of indie games. I play a lot of indie games.
I dabble.
I just got, like, a lot of this shit looked really good, and it was really cool to see, like, some of these games that I've been, like, looking forward to for a while finally kind of coming out. I just wanted to highlight a few of these. So, first of all, probably the biggest news of this entire Direct, the rumors, as it turns out, were true, and Cuphead is coming to the Switch on April 18th for $19.99. I'm so ready to play this game on my Switch. You have no idea. Can't wait.
With the power of the Switch?
With the power of the Switch. But I can't wait. Interestingly enough, if you actually watch the Direct, they say that this is made possible by a collaboration with, quote, their friends at Microsoft. So I'm like, this Microsoft collaboration, this seems more and more...
choice of words.
Exactly. I'm like rubbing my nipples. I'm like, friends at Microsoft, eh? And there's, we covered, I think a few weeks ago on the show, we covered the rumors that Ori... the 2 Ori games were making their way to the Switch. I think that's basically at this point.
That would fit really well with the Switch.
And by the way, that first Ori game is fucking phenomenal.
The thing is, I've never played them, and I've always been interested in them.
Phenomenal.
So I honestly, if it does come to the Switch, I might actually pick it up.
Yeah. And Cuphead and also has like co-op and stuff like that. Not online co-op, unfortunately. But,
if it had online co-op, I'd be there with you.
Yeah, you'd be my mug man.
Oh yeah, I'm always your mug man.
But Cuphead is an excellent game. It was one of my top 10 last year, I believe, and it's just really really good, really really good. And I just can't wait to re-experience it on Switch and break my Switch Pro controller more than likely.
Oh, God bless.
But the Microsoft...
Throw that motherfucker at the wall.
The Microsoft collaboration, though, is so interesting. To hear them publicly announce that they do indeed have a collaboration with Microsoft. I mean, this to me, again, my head's spinning, Todd.
Oh, yeah, that's all the possibilities just with that collaboration. It's fucking insane.
The Ori game's coming to Switch. All right, cool. The door's open for Banjo, for Smash.
Oh, Lord. This motherfucker always got to bring up Banjo.
Always. The Banjo door is wide open. The Banjo door has never been more open, Todd.
I'll be honest. I'll be dead ass if it'd be cool to get a new Banjo, right?
Yes.
I would love to just play the I would love to play the first one and Banjo Tooie on Switch.
Yes.
I don't give a shit.
Oh my God.
I'd be there day one.
I would cry.
Are you? I know you'd cry.
I love those games so much. It's
funny is I could dead ass play it on my Xbox One or whatever.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I don't know. I don't turn on my Xbox One.
I'm sitting here though, and I'm thinking to myself, wouldn't it be some shit? And this is the dark place that my brain went to, and I messaged you this. Wouldn't it be some shit if like Cuphead was the Microsoft character that they got to come to Smash?
I think you'd be fucking furious.
I messaged you and I said, I swear to God, if Cuphead comes to Smash, I'll fucking riot.
No, I swear.
If that's the Smash character we get out of this collaboration, I'd be so pissed. Don't get me wrong, I love Cuphead.
The thing is, I think he'd actually work.
He would work. That's the thing. That's the thing that pisses me off about it, because he would totally work.
Because now that I'm thinking about it, yeah, he would work actually pretty well.
Because Cuphead has several different weapons, several different moves. Yep. He's got his sort of parry mechanic would work really well with Smash. And I'm like, motherfucker, he would work.
That's basically like I think they'd turn that into a counter probably.
Yeah, well, even like
shit.
The thing about it is too is like it's used in the game in many different ways, because you can use it as sort of a way to deflect damage, but you can also use it for platforming purposes, and you can also
they can do a lot of interesting things with
it. You can also use it to charge, like you basically use the parries to charge Cuphead's like super ability, essentially.
Yeah.
So yeah, you could easily move him to Smash, but I really hope they don't, because I'm just like, god damn it, dude, that would piss me off on so many levels. Because it would piss me off on an indie level, because it's like you're gonna bring Cuphead over, but you can't bring Shovel Knight over, you know. And then it would piss me off from a level of the Microsoft collaboration. I was like, fuck, this is the Microsoft character you're gonna get, not Banjo. Banjo is like one of the most fan requested characters. So
I swear,
I don't know, man. I've seen into this dark timeline, and I'm just like, I'm like ready for the heartbreak that's associated with it. And in any case, it's coming to Switch. You can pre-order it now, which I probably will be doing after we're done recording this. April 18th is when that's coming out. Another game that's coming out April 18th is an indie game that I've long been looking forward to, Katana Zero. Oh my god. And like they showed a new gameplay trailer for it. This game looks fucking magnificent. Oh, I'm so ready. Did you watch this gameplay trailer they showed?
Yeah, I did.
Oh,
I did. Oh, looks legit.
The animation is just like unparalleled, dude. Unparalleled. Like, yes, it's pixel art. Everybody does pixel art, but the actual animation is so good. And like the time slowing mechanics, you being able to use your katana to send bullets back at people. Ugh. I'm so ready. That is also coming out April 18th, same day as Cuphead. So I'm like, it looks like I'm going to be playing my Switch a lot late April. A couple other games that I wanted to highlight here. Rad, the new game from Double Fine, coming this summer, which looks very fun.
Yeah.
It is a sort of like top-down isometric roguelike third-person brawler in which you play as... This is something that I was reading on IGN. You play as a randomly generated mutant kid who is surviving not one, but two apocalypses.
Double
apocalypse. It's a post-apocalypse, which is interesting. And yeah, it seems like it's a procedurally generated beat-em-up. And it looks like a lot of fun. I really like the art style. It's not just coming to Switch. It's also coming to like PS4 and Xbox One, which is probably where I'm going to play it.
Yeah, I'll probably pick it up on PS4.
Yeah,
if I pick it up.
But it looks like a lot of fun. And you know, Double Fine, they haven't really made a game that I've disliked. So I'm very on board for that. Always ready for a new Double Fine game. This is an interesting one, and I put this in my notes here because it really stood out to me, not even just visually, but like the sort of like premise of it. Neocab. Did you see this?
Yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah, because it looks like you are sort of a cab driver. You do a ride share like an Uber or a Lyft service in a sort of cyberpunk dystopia. You were like the only human driver, I think they were saying. It seems interesting. It seems like it's sort of like you're driving around picking up, you know, customers in your cab, and all the while trying to avoid the attention of like the sort of dystopian police force. And I gotta admit, like the graphics looked really good. Like the art style was really interesting. Kind of reminded me of like a Telltale art style, almost cel shaded a little bit.
Yeah,
I was very intrigued. And then there was another first person game sort of right around the same time called The Red Lantern, which was interesting. Sort of a dog sledding game.
Almost looked like some survival-esque shit in it as well.
Yes, so it's like they pitched it like it was a sort of open-world survival-esque. You have to hunt and stuff like that. And I guess there's some roguelike elements. There's some like randomly generated elements in the Alaskan wilderness.
But anything with some good boys.
Oh, the dogs looked awesome.
Yeah.
They looked awesome. And again, I just like I'm looking at this and I'm just like, man, I'm like surprised that this stuff runs on Switch. You know, you can do a lot with the Switch hardware if you optimize it properly.
With the power.
With the power of the Switch. My friend Pedro looked really cool.
Oh yeah, that looked
like the Matrix game basically.
Yep.
But that's a Devolver Digital game, and it totally has their kind of like humor, like where I guess you're being mentored by like a spirit banana named Pedro.
Yes, my friend.
And like there's just something about like the way that it animates. Like you're seeing this guy as you jump, just like twirl naturally through the air.
Yeah, it looked good.
It looked unlike anything I'd ever really seen before. Just like the animation style of it. It's like a 2D combat side scroller. It looks like, but just the amount of things that you were able to pull off, the amount of things that it looks like you can do. You can do like some of that John Wick Matrix shit in a 2D side scrolling combat platformer.
You dare say John Wick when you haven't even watched them?
I have not seen the John Wick movies. I'm sorry, listeners. I've failed you. So that looked really cool. The way they ended the show, though, they ended the show with a new rhythm-based game from the creators of Crypt of the Necrodancer, which is a game that I really love. The interesting thing, though, is it's also a Zelda collaboration. It's called Cadence of Hyrule, and it essentially looks like Crypt of the Necrodancer, but in the Zelda universe.
And you will be there day one.
And that right there, yeah, spring 2019 is what they have on there. No official release date, but yeah, that description alone, sold.
Yep.
The gameplay looked awesome. The remix of the Zelda theme that they were playing the game to was fantastic. Oh, I'm so on board for that. I love the art style of it. It looks like just a step above like Super Nintendo, just that one like notch above, that one notch between like Super Nintendo and N64.
Yeah.
It just looks slightly better than like A Link to the Past. And you see a lot of stuff from like Zelda history in there. Looked very, very good. And it just looked fun. Like seeing like the different sort of like attacks that Zelda had in the trailer, I'm just like, man, it's right up my alley. A rhythm-based Zelda game, I'm there, dude. I'm there. But that's pretty much all I've got for video game news. I've got a couple of pieces of movie-based news that are kind of major that we should tackle here to wrap up the show. Almost all of them related to superhero movies. The biggest one, the elephant in the room. Disney has reinstated James Gunn as director of Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
So my hot take, I'll tell you my when I woke up.
Give me that hot take.
I sat down in my chair. I jump on Facebook. I see people posting about it. I just see shit on Facebook. I can't trust that. I go to Google. Go to get my clarification. And then as it rings true, I'm just like, I kind of go, let's fucking go. I'm excited.
Look, don't get me wrong, I'm excited too. Let me just tell the whole story here, just to give people context for those that don't know. You and I, of course, know this, and we covered this on the show when this happened, but in July of last year, Gunn was fired from the project after sort of like offensive, super old, like decade-old tweets were uncovered from his Twitter feed.
As such is the world now.
Right. And this was met with enormous backlash from fans as well as the film's cast and crew. The decision to bring Gunn back was reportedly made months ago. Disney claims that they actually never entered negotiations with other directors. They just kind of like fired James Gunn, and they were just kind of like, hey, like, let's cool it and let's talk about this. And they've been talking about it for like almost a year now. So
yeah,
Gunn is still, this is the part that concerns me. Knee-jerk reaction is, oh, this is great. James Gunn and Guardians, awesome. The part that concerns me is, in the interim, after he got fired, Gunn was snatched up by DC, right?
For Suicide Squad reboot.
Exactly. He is still writing and directing what is now referred to as The Suicide Squad, I guess is the new title. Which is, going to be the Suicide Squad reboot that he's doing for DC. And it has since been confirmed that production on Guardians 3 will not begin until he is finished with the Suicide Squad.
And that is the shittiest part of this news to me, because it's like now we probably have to wait. Ooh, God knows how long for 3.
Yeah, what this means, Suicide Squad is currently eyeing an August 2021 release date. So, like, you're telling me that he's not going to be free to work on Guardians 3 until 2021?
Whoo, baby.
Because when you think about it, optimistically, right, say that filming starts for, say that filming for Suicide Squad starts in, like, summer 2020, and say they wrap filming in, like, December, and then it goes into post-production, and it releases the following August. Okay? Say that's how it all works, and say, optimistically, maybe they will allow Gunn to work on Guardians after he begins sort of the principal photography, after he's done with principal photography on Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
That's still, at best, he would not be able to even touch Guardians until late 2020. Mm-hmm. And then you got to think, I mean, that's another, 6 months of shooting and, almost a year probably of post-production on Guardians. So, like, the earliest you're going to see Guardians, optimistically, is 2023.
Some real shit. And I think me and you talked about this, like, off recording, like, when this news basically first hit, was like, shit. What are they going to do to keep these characters relevant?
I mean, here's the thing. I think no matter when you release it, I think that it's going to be worth the wait. James Gunn is brilliant.
Oh, it definitely will, because, like, Guardians is probably my favorite of the sub franchises.
Exactly. James Gunn is going to be worth the wait, don't get me wrong. The fans, I think, are going to appreciate it regardless. I think the fans are going to be very like, all right, just take your time and make the James Gunn Guardians movie we all want. That's all well and good. My problem is that they're going to have to... So, this is 4 years from now. You know what I mean? Like, optimistically 4 years from now, by the way. It could possibly be even longer until we see Guardians 3. And 4 years in this industry is a fucking eternity.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the amount of movies... Marvel releases between 2 and 3 movies a year. And it's only going to ramp up now that they just... Actually, today, this is a news item that I was going to cover, but it's already been sort of covered in the past. But the deal was finalized today that they are acquiring Fox. So now production is even going to ramp up on that. They're going to be trying to get the X-Men into this. They're going to be trying to get Fantastic Four into this.
Now I understand why I saw one of the best pictures of my life.
Oh God, what was it?
It was somebody edited Thanos to look like Mickey Mouse.
And it had like the stones where it was like Fox.
It was him putting like the last like stone in where he's like kind of like
yeah. Dude, it's true. Yeah, that deal was finalized today. I think it was like a $71 billion buyout.
Holy
historic
shit.
buyout. But yeah, so now they now own the film rights to... They can now do X-Men again. They can do Fantastic Four again. And like, they're going to. Make no mistake.
That's fucking hilarious to me, because it's like, oh, you guys want to keep those rights? We'll just buy you.
Dude, Disney has so much money. They're like... It's literally like one of those things where it's like, hey, I'm going to buy the store.
Well, Disney at this point, it's like, that's why, like, dude, that Disney streaming service, they own everything.
They own everything. And it's like, and it's funny because, we were talking about Google today. It's like, this world is going to be owned by Google and Disney. And I'm just like...
And Amazon.
And yeah. And I'm just like, bring on this fucking dystopia. Bring on this...
It's the holy trinity.
Bring on this Disney-owned dystopia. This Disney-topia that I want to live in.
I want to find that fucking picture, and I kind of want to make it the thumbnail.
So, So that happened. And my point is that it is conceivable, Todd. Again, keep in mind, Disney is releasing these fucking Marvel movies at least 2 a year. So...
Yeah, so
between now and Guardians 3, we're going to get minimum like 8 to 10 Marvel movies. Mm-hmm. Minimum. And in fact, by the time we get another proper Guardians movie, we're more than likely going to see a Fantastic Four movie, a relaunch of the X-Men franchise. Like,
Now here's the thing. What they just going off topic. What the Fantastic Four? What they fucking need to do is do what they did with Homecoming.
yeah.
Just they're fucking the Fantastic Four. No, get the fucking origin bullshit out of there. Just boom.
There were rumors that there were actually rumors that they were going to because you see, I guess, in the new Endgame trailer they're all wearing kind of like the like similar like white suits or whatever.
Yeah.
There were rumors that like, oh, Reed Richards made those suits or whatever.
Oh, that'd be cool. That'd be baller.
So anyway, because like, it does sort of look like the Future Foundation suits.
It does.
So anyway, that's a bit of a tangent. It's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out. But I'm just afraid that the Guardians are going to be relegated to side characters just to keep them relevant and to keep them in the mind's eye for the next 4 years. We're just going to see them pop up in Captain Marvel 3. You know what I mean? It's just like, I don't want that for the Guardians. The Guardians deserve better than this fate.
Yeah.
Because you can't just make them disappear for 4 years.
Yeah, you definitely can. You got to keep.
You got to keep selling those Groot toys. You know what I mean? Like, you can't just make the Guardians fuck off for 3 years. So it's going to be very interesting to see what Disney does, and you got to give them credit because this is all in service of keeping James Gunn. Because if they wanted to, it's Disney, dude. They could have found any other director and been like, you know what, make us a fucking Guardians movie, and we want it now.
Yeah,
like they could have done it. And in fact, I think Taika Waititi made a funny tweet where he was like, "Wait a minute, I thought I was directing this."
I think that's good.
Yeah,
that's good.
He's like, "This is bullshit. I thought this was mine."
I love that, man.
So anyway, we got more superhero movie drama, Todd. More superhero movie drama, if you can believe it. Is Ezra Miller writing his own script for the Flash solo film?
Yeah, I heard about that.
The Hollywood Reporter says that he has teamed up with renowned comics author Grant Morrison to work on a solo Flash film treatment. Supposedly, this is in response to a, quote, clash of creative visions between directors John Francis Daley and Jonathan Goldstein, who want to take a more lighthearted approach to the character.
And he wants to go darker.
Yeah, and Miller apparently wants to take a darker approach to the material. So that's interesting to me.
See, what thing is with this, I'm hoping it doesn't go the route of, Affleck.
Right, where he just ends up dropping altogether.
Yeah, it's like I'm like, because I don't think we've seen enough of his Flash for him to be like, I don't really like care for him, or I don't really like him, because like all we really have of him is like the fucking Justice League movie, and that wasn't really a lot of it.
To be honest with you, though, I actually really liked him in Justice League.
No, I do.
Like, I thought he was good.
From what I've seen, I do like him, but it's just like I want to see more.
And moreover, I liked his interactions with Batman in Justice League. Like that whole scene where he's like, if you could even save one person, like that's a really good scene.
Yeah, that's probably one of my favorite scenes, actually.
Yeah, but I gotta say, like, if we're just gonna make our predictions here, it is said that if WB rejects the script that Ezra Miller and Grant Morrison are writing, Ezra Miller could just part ways with the project and the character altogether because his holding deal on The Flash expires in May.
Yep. So
contractually, he can dip out essentially whenever he wants. So if they reject this script, he's probably just going to throw up the deuces, So which is a bit of a bummer. I mean, it's a little bit sad to see all of this DC stuff kind of crumble.
See, I don't know. I'm kind of hoping they let him do his thing because I actually kind of wouldn't mind like a darker take on the Flash.
I wouldn't mind seeing what he does with it. And by the way, Grant Morrison helping him write the script is a huge vote of confidence because Grant Morrison is a fantastic author. Wrote maybe my favorite run of Batman comics of all time, and just a wonderful, wonderful writer. So for me, his name being attached to the script in general is a huge vote of confidence for me. So I would like to see their take on this. I would like to see that. I just wonder if WB is going to go for that because I almost wonder if they look at this and they say, dark and gritty, that's kind of Snydery.
That's kind of what ruined us.
Exactly. They seem like they don't really want to go that route with their movies right now because they're doing this Aquaman thing. They're doing the Shazam thing. You know what I mean?
Oh, Lord. Shazam looks campy as shit, and I love it.
So I'm just like, I almost wonder if WB is going to see this and if they're going to get like triggered and they're just going to throw it out the window and Ezra Miller is going to peace out.
That's the thing. They gotta get it like they said. They gotta treat it like they're. It's not a cinematic universe anymore. It's standalones.
Right.
It's like shit. Like honestly, I think I don't know. I'm curious to see if it does. If they're able to do it, I'm curious to see where it goes.
Yeah, we'll see. I just, I do want a solo Flash film. And I liked what we saw of Ezra Miller, so we'll see.
I want to see some of the rogues.
Yes, dude. Captain Cold, Mirror Master.
Yes.
I want to see these characters. I got one last bit of news. This is also movie-related news, and as I teased at the top of the show, it is Star Wars-related. A new rumor suggests that the upcoming series of Star Wars films by Benioff and Weiss of Game of Thrones will be set in the Old Republic era.
Let's fucking go.
Star Wars Newsnet has reported that they have a contact who has worked on every Disney Star Wars film, and their contact is, quote, 95% confident that this time period has been chosen for the film series. Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. This has just made me, jizz in my pants. I love the Old Republic era, and I'm so ready to see it accepted into proper canon. Ugh. Makes me so happy.
Yeah, that just got my dick hard.
And I got to be honest with you, we've got another quote here from their contact that says, quote, Disney wants to open up the Star Wars timeline and appeal to a more Game of Thrones style audience. The source went on to say that filming is scheduled to begin this fall, and that the film will take place, quote, hundreds of years prior to the Skywalkers, and will carry a tone like Star Wars meets Lord of the Rings. So, this makes sense to me, because I'm like, that is true. I could see Disney wanting to to kind of they have the kids and stuff like that. It would be kind of nice to have a sort of darker film series that can capture that Game of Thrones audience. Game of Thrones is wrapping up this year, as we know.
Mm-hmm.
Have something to get those people. Have something to get those people latched onto something new with a dark, gritty, Old Republic era Star Wars movie. The interesting thing to me is that this is going to be a film series and not a TV series.
You know what I want to see?
What's that?
I want to see Nar Shaddaa.
It's like Nar Shaddaa. What was the context for that?
I don't remember, dude.
That's an inside joke that we've had for a long time. I don't remember what the context was, but I was trying to describe to you a dark, crime-ridden place, and I was like, just imagine it's like Nar Shaddaa. The homeworld of the Hutts and the Hutt underworld.
Oh, shit.
My Star Wars nerd roots run deep, man.
I mean, I appreciate it. I recognize the references. Sometimes I choose to ignore them.
It's so funny because when I started getting back into collecting Star Wars toys a couple years ago, really when The Force Awakens came out is when I started getting back into collecting. Anastasia was like, my wife, she was like, oh, you're on that Star Wars kick, huh? I'm like, Star Wars kick? I've been on a Star Wars kick since I was a kid.
Yep. It's never ended.
I've been on a Star Wars kick been on a Star Wars kick for 22 years.
That's the thing. That's Star Wars is probably for the both of us, probably our most lifelong fandom sort of thing.
It definitely is. I mean, that's why, and this is something I'm sure we'll talk about on Relapse when we come back to The Last Jedi. That's why it really spoke to me at the end of The Last Jedi, where the kid, broom kid, holding the broom. I'm like, yeah, dude, I used to do that when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
The broom was my lightsaber.
Bro, I used to have the lightsaber toys and
oh hell yeah,
with my sister. I'd put on a robe like a jackass.
Dude, Justin Welch and I, we used to be in my backyard with those plastic lightsabers. The ones that you flicked out and they and they extended or whatever. We would beat the fuck out of each other with those lightsabers.
Yes,
we would give each other's welts One time we were fighting with lightsabers, and I accidentally knocked his glasses into the pool. We had a pool in our backyard. And that's dude, we were out for blood. We would beat the fuck out of each other.
Dude, I've actually really become close to putting actual money down and getting one of those ones that you could legit do combat with.
Yes, the Saber Forge ones or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah, I've thought about it too.
Seth, come on, man.
I'll never forget. when we went to the midnight premiere of Revenge of the Sith episode 3, like we sat out in front of the theater and there was a large scale LARPing session essentially.
God
there
bless.
was like 12, probably I would say 12 to 15 nerds out there with their lightsabers. I was one of them doing lightsaber fights in the movie theater parking lot. And
that's beautiful.
I
love that shit.
It was good. Anyway, that's a tangent though. Here's my thing with this Benioff and Weiss series, because they've said that it's going to be a film kind of spin-off trilogy, possibly extending to other things, but I'm surprised that they don't tap these dudes to do TV. They know TV, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. Like I would be. It's cool that it's cool that it's gonna be a film series, but I think it would have been it might have been a better move to do a TV series.
And here's my question: if you want to capture the Game of Thrones audience, is the Game of Thrones audience looking for a film series? I don't necessarily think so.
Or a new TV series to fill the void.
Yeah, I think they're looking for TV series. I think that the Game of Thrones audience likes to talk about the episodes week after week, not, hey, let's wait 2 years for a new movie.
Yeah, it's like, again, like, dude, fucking shit. Game of Thrones episodes are like a mini movie. The motherfucker's like an hour plus long.
Especially this last season. Have you seen that?
Yeah, they're going to be pretty bad.
They released the runtimes for the episodes of this last season of Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
I think some of them crossed that 2 hour mark.
Yep.
Where it's just, you're literally going to be watching a movie every week.
I mean, I'm down for it, because it's like, it's the final season. I'm looking forward to it.
It's going to be cool, but I'm just curious. I don't know why they don't go that route with it. I mean, I think the obvious answer is just like, they don't, now that the Skywalker saga is ending, which we know it is, they have said over and over again, Skywalker saga is ending, blah, blah, blah. This is the end. Episode 9 is the end. They want to have a new linchpin film series. They want to have a new, like, big blockbuster film series, because that's where the real money is, Mm-hmm. Like, you can make your money on the Disney Plus streaming service, but you're not going to make $1 billion on that. You're going to make your real money off of these big time movies. You're going to make your hundreds of millions of dollars off of that. So I understand the need to have these big budget movies, but man, like you're putting a lot of faith in these dudes. And then you've also got the Rian Johnson trilogy in the works, which is still happening. Despite the rumors that he was bowing out, it is still very much happening. So there's a lot of Star Wars. I got to be honest with you, as melancholic as I feel about Episode 9 and the Skywalker series coming to an end, I'm kind of really excited to see what Disney does with Star Wars after this.
Well, that's the thing. I think we've talked about this. We want to see more shit,
I want to see the new hotness.
We've always wanted to see more of the universe.
Yeah. That's why I'm so excited for, like, The Mandalorian, And I'm excited to see them pick up Clone Wars.
The real question: what do you truly want from this Old Republic film series?
I really just want to see, like, because the cool thing about the Old Republic is that, but we don't really get to see a whole lot of, like, when the Jedi and Sith were thriving.
I want Revan.
Well, yeah, you could work Revan into it. You could work characters that we know and love from the games into it and make them work in canon. But, like, even aside from that, I mean, like, like Korriban, like, we don't.
Oh, dude, I would love to see that shit.
We don't ever see that in the movies. We never see more than, like, 2 Sith at a time. Because there's the whole.
This was the Old Republic is before the rule of 2.
Exactly. So I would really like to see. I would really just like to see them embrace, like this timeline where the Jedi and the Sith were thriving, and there was a lot of them,
Dude, like, I'm so down for this.
And yeah, we get a little bit of a taste, in, like, Attack of the Clones. We see a bunch of Jedi with lightsabers, but no, this is when, like, it was not uncommon. Like, Jedi and Sith were not uncommon. They were thriving, And then you also, and like, it's not as if it's lost. Like, you still get your kind of, like, smuggler, kind of more grounded, down-to-earth stuff in the Old Republic, but, like, there is such a kind of a dark, gritty, kind of guerrilla warfare element that the Old Republic carries. That's why when I sat down with a Star Wars RPG that I was fucking with, I set it in the Old Republic because it is so creatively freeing. You you don't have to limit yourself, because in the Old Republic, anything goes. You know? The Old Republic is the fucking Wild West of Star Wars.
Yep.
So, if this new film series is going to take place in the Old Republic, I'm like very on board. Very, very creatively liberating series.
Yeah, there's a lot of potential for that, so.
Anyway, I could talk about this all day. We're running a little long. I think we should probably wrap it up. We've covered the news sufficiently. The nerd news. So, Todd, you got anything else you want to add before we wrap it up?
I think that's about it, man.
All right. Thanks for listening, guys. We'll catch you next week. Get fucking dunked on. Bye.
See ya.
Hey there, thanks for checking out another fantastic Nerd Bourbon video. If you like what you saw and you want to see more, be sure to go ahead and subscribe, leave us a like, drop us a nice comment, or I guess a mean one if that's your prerogative. But until next time, get dunked on.